What's going on, all you beautiful people? We are here again with the Villanova Wildcat Dynasty. Obviously, if you guys saw last episode, Villanova has won the national championship. That is right. The Natty is in Philadelphia. Champs. As you can see right there, Villanova crowned national champions after a 31-7 win over Texas. So let's do the Season 6 recap. All right, let's check out the season. Game number 1, Villanova in a heartbreaker with Bazinga Crow starting at kicker. Just was not good. Missed a field goal, missed an extra point. Villanova ends up losing this game to Alabama by 1 point. Luckily, it was the first game of the season because then we rattled off a 39-14 win against Temple, 38-3 win against Texas Tech. We ended up beating Nebraska 34-21, and they ended up being number 2 at the end of the year, so they must have won a huge bowl game. Indiana, we beat them 38-6. We had a tough time against Michigan State. I remember that game well. That one was right down to the wire. A lot of missed field goals back and forth at the end of that game. And then finally, Marshall, the punter, who played kicker for us pretty much the entire year after the Texas Tech game, was able to drill a pressure cooker and win and beat a 2-10, a team that ended up being 2-10 at the end of the year. We did beat Penn State 31-7. We had a hugely tough game against Ohio State and was able to prevail in that one 28-21. Then we beat Michigan 31-16, no problems there. Beat Rutgers 35-23. That one was a lot closer on the scoreboard than it actually was in the game. They rattled off like 2 onside kicks or something at the end of that one. Maryland did pretty much the same thing to us, but we kicked their ass as well, and we beat the crap out of Pittsburgh on the road to end the regular season. We went into the conference title game thinking we were going to get a tough game against Iowa. We played them last year in the Big Ten title game. We beat them pretty handedly, and we did the same to them this year. Huge game, 42-17, and then in the national title against Texas, we were able to win that one 31-7. Let's check out the top 25 polls here. Obviously, we're number 1 for having won the Natty. Nebraska ends number 2. Georgia number 3. Texas drops to 4 after losing to us. Washington, Oregon, Iowa, Clemson, Miami, and Texas A&M rounding out the top 10. Let's see, anything else interesting? Army, number 17. Look at this, V-Dub. Your San Jose Spartans at number 18. That's pretty cool. Mid-Tennessee State, Bowling Green. Ohio, the MAC, getting some love in the top 25. Tulsa, Mississippi State. Check out our conference. Obviously, we're on top with a 10-0 record. Penn State at 10-3, 8-1 in conference. Ohio State 10-3, 7-2 in conference. Michigan went 7-6. Pittsburgh 6-7. Maryland 3-9. Rutgers 1-10, and Michigan State 2-10. In the other half of the conference, we played Iowa. We beat them 12-2. We played Nebraska. They're 11-2. We beat them. I don't think we've ever played Wisconsin yet. They were 9-7. Minnesota we have not played. They're 7-6. Northwestern I don't believe we played. They're 5-7. We haven't played Illinois yet either. They were 4-8. Or Purdue. They were 4-8. We did play Indiana the last 2 seasons. They were 3-9 on the year. Obviously, we're going to check out the stats later, but I believe that Wilson was largely ripped off on a Heisman win. I don't know why Holy Cross and Hunt are in here over Wilson to begin with as quarterbacks, but we'll check it out. All-Americans, as you can tell, Wilson is the All-NCAA first-team quarterback, so again, how he's not a Heisman candidate at least, even if he wasn't going to win. I don't get it. Downing makes it for first-team All-NCAA as a D tackle. Brian Johnson at corner. Jared Smith at free safety and Adam Sanders at strong safety. Our safeties were instrumental on our defense. Looking at second team, that's where Davidson falls for Georgia. There's DeMarcus Bates, our center. And that's really it. Look at this. User subscriber recruit Bomber Geppert as a senior makes the second team All-American. Did I miss anyone on first team? No, I didn't. Okay, so the freshman All-Americans, we got Trayvon Johnson at running back, Caleb Stevenson at wide receiver, Michael Jenkins at D tackle, Bryson Fry at corner, and that's a lot of All-Americans, to be honest. Let's see how we did within the Big Ten. Obviously, Wilson will be there. Bates, also a first-team Big Ten. Washington, Downing, they are first-team Big Ten. Atkinson, Johnson, Smith, and Sanders. So that is huge. We had a lot of Big Ten first-team All-Americans. Looking at second team, Ray Houston was a tough back to play against. Ryan Hunt, obviously a tough quarterback. Larson, tough running back. We played against these guys. We saw them. We know them well. Rivero, Turner, Rob Smith at left tackle. Jenkins at D tackle. Chavis at corner. He totally deserves that. There's Bomber Geppert again. Bobby McCray is in there as well. At championship contenders, we obviously were number one this season, winning. They project us to go 3 next year and then 1-1. So projecting 2 natties. Let's take a peek at the award winners real fast. Ryan Hunt wins the Maxwell. That's biased. He had 40 total touchdowns, 2,800 yards. Okay, we're looking at the stats. He had 2,800 yards, 716 on the ground with 40 touchdowns. Okay. This guy has no business. He didn't have 2,800 yards or 700 yards. He only had 32 touchdowns. My man Wilson had 50 TDs. He had 3,700 passing yards and 439 rushing yards. Not to mention the highest quarterback rating in NCAA history. Nobody's going to come close to 3,700 yards here. You're telling me that because he is 300 rushing yards behind Hunt, that means more to the game than 900 passing yards and an extra 12 total TDs? Or an extra 10 total TDs? No way. Walter Camp, we had nobody there. Bednarik, no one there. Nagurski, no. He does win the Davey O'Brien Award, so they're admitting that he's the number one quarterback in college football. So if you're admitting he's the number one quarterback in college football, doesn't that mean that his throwing stats were better than any other quarterback, and then he also added 12 rushing touchdowns as a quarterback? I don't know, man. I think he got completely robbed. We got nobody in the running for any of these. In the Remington, Bates was in the running there as one of the better centers. Hold on a second. This guy had 26 pancakes, 5 sacks. My man had 7 pancakes. Okay, he didn't give up any sacks, though. Just looking for more bias against Nova. Okay, this guy, 14 tackles at TFL, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 touchdowns. My man had 33 tackles, 3 TFLs, a forced fumble, and 5 picks. That's not a win? This man didn't have 33 tackles. He didn't have 3 TFLs. None of these people had 33 tackles or 3 TFLs. Yeah, he only had 1 forced fumble, but he had 5 picks. I mean, I could see Matt Tucker being ahead of him with 6 picks, but I can't see the others. No, not in there for the Groza. That's because technically it was a punter kicking, so they're not going to give us that. No best returner, none of that. All right. I think we got hosed. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. And, of course, we will take a look at the bowl results again. I will not talk about every game. I'm just going to run through them real quick. Look at Texas State winning a bowl game. Way to go. San Jose State winning the Mako Bowl in Vegas against Utah. Good win for V-Dub squad. Bowling Green over Pitt, who probably shouldn't even made a bowl game. I thought we would have knocked them out of a bowl game. Army wins a bowl game. SMU over Stanford. Hey, Virginia wins a big game in something. Look at that. Arkansas over Wake Forest. Tulsa over Kent State in the Fight Hunger. We played in that once. Wisconsin wins there. Syracuse. Louisville over UCLA in the Hyundai Bowl. Florida over Florida State. There's a rivalry in the Chick-fil-A. Mississippi State over Ohio State in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. Texas A&M over Penn State. Iowa over Bama in the Outback. Nebraska over Washington in the Rose Bowl. Huge game. Fiesta Bowl was Miami over TCU. Sugar Bowl, Oregon over Tennessee. Orange Bowl, Georgia over Clemson big. And there we are with our natty 31-7. All right, I'm just going to show our season stats for the year, and then I'll do a little bit of off-season preview. Don't want to do a ton of it because there's a big announcement coming in this video. Okay, so Robert Wilson, 37-94, 38 TDs, 7 picks, 271 yards per game, and the overall best quarterback rating in NCAA history for a quarterback who qualifies. Rushing-wise, Trayvon Johnson in his freshman redshirt season, 598 yards, 7 touchdowns. Lane, 222. Wilson, 439 and 12 scores. On the receiving end of things, we have Carlton was our leading receiver with 745. Not what I would have thought he was, but he was our leading receiver with 6 touchdowns. Rivero, I would have thought, was our leader, 722 with 10 TDs. Gray with 653. Gates with 461. 460 for the tight end and 8 touchdowns. 441 for Caleb Stevenson with 2 scores. Lane had 202 and 3 scores. Johnson 163, and Singleton and Hayes were just helpers. Pancakes, look at Bates. 7 pancakes, no sacks. 7 pancakes, 4 sacks. 5 pancakes, no sacks. Well, Joseph, probably our worst offensive lineman this year. 3 pancakes and 5 sacks given up. Newbie, 2 pancakes and 2 sacks. Actually, Rob Smith gave up 5 sacks with no pancakes. I don't know how he made it on a Big Ten All-American list. Our leading tackler was strong safety Adam Sanders, followed by middle linebacker Lorenzo Atkinson, and then corner Maurice Newsom, and then Jared Smith after that. TFL leader Newsom and Downing with 10 TFLs apiece. That's pretty awesome. Sacks, Downing had 8 of them. Jenkins with 5, Slaughter with 5, Washington with 4, and a little bit of an underwhelming senior season for him. 5 interceptions for the junior redshirt Brian Johnson, 4 for Billy Chavis, 3 for Sanders, 3 for Newsom, 2 for Smith, and then we got one from Pierre, the freshman redshirt, Atkinson, Allen, and Fry as well. Forced fumbles, we only had 4 of them. Washington, Johnson, Woods, and Campbell with those. Recoveries, Kevin Rivero recovered 2 on offense. Johnson, Downing, and Atkinson recovering the defensive forced fumbles. We had no blocks or safeties. The 2 touchdown scorers on defense was Atkinson and Billy Chavis. Kicking, Bazinga Crow was 1 of 3 at field goals and 7 of 10 at extra points before he was fired. Marshall came in. He was never missed an extra point. 50 of 50. He missed 2 field goals. He was 12 of 14. His net average was 36.6 a punt. He only punted 5 times all season. Kick return average was 34.5 for Trayvon Johnson. His punt return average was 13.7. Not too bad. They never allowed him in the end zone, but overall, very good stats for this Natty team.
Records here. We got Brian Gates with 28 receiving touchdowns in his career. Previous record was 26. Vasu Sharma ends the season with 1 extra passing touchdown, furthering his career passing touchdown school record. Wilson surpassed Sharma. Of course, we saw that in an episode this season. 38 passing touchdowns versus Vasu's 35. Vasu, though, with the career passing yardage record, obviously surpassing himself by picking up another 130 yards this year on plays where Wilson was injured. Wilson picked up 37.94 in passing yardage. That is going to be the single season record for Villanova. Moving on, we're looking at all the records that were broken over this series. And you can see them all there. Malik Dupree holds almost every single rushing record except a single game. Vasu holds half of the passing records, and Wilson holds the other half that were broken during the series. Gates with the longest kick return. And there it is. Wilson with the greatest quarterback rating in the history of NCAA football.
All right, and there are plenty more than 4 people we'd like to bring in. All right, I want to get Casey Schroeder. He's probably going to get half of our offseason points, to be honest with you. Casey Schroeder, an 81 overall linebacker, outsawed Becca, the number 1 outsawed Becca in the draft class. All right, then we got the number 17 defensive end. However, he's a +5 gem. That's another guy I'd like to bring in, and we're leading him. Then we have Brendan Merriman. He's a JUCO, but he's a 95 speed JUCO corner. That is important to me. That's solid. Then we have Marcus Sykes. He's a quarterback. He's a +6 gem. That's a guy we can bring in for our future. Pat Harmon, we are up by 11,000. I don't know how this man has not committed already. He's from Jersey, so I could go over there and knock on his door and make sure that he comes in. John Jackson, we're also in the lead by 1175. He's a 91 speed free safety. David Moore is a JUCO wideout. I think we're going to end up letting him go in the offseason. I don't think we're going to go for him. 92 speed. We have Sean Holycross here. 84 speed wideout. I don't think we're going to bring him in at all. If anything, we bring in Moore, even though he's a JUCO because he's faster. Pennington as an athlete is an 84 speed. He's looking like he can play some defense, so he's probably better suited for safety. Macklin, we're losing by 1230. I'm actually going to take him off right in front of you guys. We will not be going after him or Zach Walker. We're not winning the races, and I just don't find them worth it. Same thing with Nicholson and Larson, so we don't need to talk about those guys. Just getting 4 of these 9 people that are left on our board is going to be helpful. Okay, guys that we've brought in so far. We brought in a 78 JUCO guard, a 75 tackle, a 71 tackle, a 78 corner. How much speed does he have? He has 94 speed, so he is solid. We brought in a 78 outside linebacker who is a +5 gem in Andrew Fritz. We brought in an athlete with 86 speed in Mike Burton. Another athlete, this one a JUCO. We didn't even scout him. We just got him on an insta-commit. Tyson Miller we bring in at D-tackle. He is a 79 overall D-tackle. We bring in a gem kicker. Have you ever seen one of those? +5. So we bring him in to replace Bazinga Crow, who might get cut this offseason. We bring in Joe Coker, a +4 defensive end. We bring in Travis Ross, who is a +3 outside linebacker. We bring in Michael Brantley, not related to the outfielder for the Indians, +4 defensive end. We bring in Antoine Sims, who is not even scouted, another guy we brought in on an insta-commit. We bring in Marcus Young, a +3 defensive end. We bring in Corey Welsh, a -1, but he's a 78 overall anyways, and the number 3 D tackle in the country. We bring in the number 6 outside Becca in the country and Kyle Silva. He is a +3 and an 84 speed. I'm happy to bring him in. We bring in subscriber recruit Cameron Schlesinger at fullback. We bring in defensive tackle George Smith. He's a +5 gem. We bring in Brian McFadden as an athlete. Wasn't even scouted, was an insta-commit. We bring in subscriber recruit corner Wilson Courts. And we bring in a quarterback, Matt Adams. Only 68 speed, but the throw power, the accuracy are there. Could be a great pocket passer for us. So that's what we're looking at going into the offseason. And now comes the big announcement. Since Villanova has won a natty, that is right, it is time for this series to end. The series is now over, but it is not officially over. What we are going to do is we are going to have a 5-year simulation off-season stream. So we are going to sim straight through seasons, not recruiting anybody. These are the last players that we will want to see their careers end. Is these last players that are subscriber recruits that have just gotten in to the dynasty. So Cameron Schlesinger, Wilson Courts, and all his friends that have been recruited on other teams, and we'll find out what teams they're on in the offseason stream. Those are the guys that we will see their careers end, and we will pick up all the draft picks that get chosen along the way, and all the sub-recruits that end up getting drafted off of other teams. We will make a list of them, and they will continue on for the remainder of the New York Jets franchise on Madden 18 until that is over. But for all of you that have supported this series through and through, I thank you guys very, very much. The views have really fallen off from what it used to be on this series. But for those that have stuck through it and watched the entire thing, even through its little hiatus, which was actually a pretty big hiatus, I thank you guys. And I cannot wait to see you guys at the live stream. Thank you for watching this recap video. I'll see you guys at the live stream. Take care.